In this video, I will discuss about bleaching of discolored teeth. First of all, what is the definition for bleaching? Bleaching may be defined as lightening the color of the tooth through application of a chemical agent that will oxidize the organic pigmentation in the tooth. Therefore, we are going to apply a chemical agent that will oxidize the organic pigmentation of the tooth. So let us also discuss about the history. First of all, Macintosh actually used bleaching powder in order to lighten the color of the tooth. So later, Abbott used nearly 30% hydrogen peroxide, which is superoxole, and this is a Viva question: what is a superoxole? And he also used a high intensity light to accelerate the bleaching process. Then Nutting and Poe introduced a technique called as walking bleaching technique, where they use sodium perborate in combination with hydrogen peroxide. Next important Viva question is what is Boucher's liquid, which consists of 5 parts of hydrogen peroxide, 5 parts of hydrochloric acid, and 1 part of diethyl ether. So then Meckins repeated this Boucher technique with hydrochloric plus pumice. And then what is modified Meckins solution? Instead of using 36% hydrochloric acid, he used 20% sodium hydroxide. Now, what are the different types of discoloration? Discoloration may be because of extrinsic sources or intrinsic sources, or maybe because of strain internalization. So, extrinsic sources may be from diet, foods like tea, coffee, because of external chromogens. Strain internalization is when extrinsic strain enter the tooth through the defects of the tooth structure. So intrinsic strain may be because of pulpal or systemic agents. So for extrinsic discoloration, there is a classification given by Natho: N1, N2 and N3. In N1, colored material will bind to the tooth structure and cause discoloration. For example, if the chromogen is orange in color, it binds to the tooth and gives orange color. So it is N1. So N2 is chromogen changes color after binding to the tooth. So for this, an orange color stain will bind the tooth structure and later on become blue. Then this kind of discoloration comes under N2. N3 is colorless material binds the tooth and undergoes chemical reaction to cause stain. So chromogen, which is actually colorless but it binds the tooth, then afterwards it undergoes some kind of chemical reaction to cause stain. This is N3. So what are the few causes of discoloration? Tooth discoloration may be because of the foods or decomposition of the pulpal tissue, because of calcific metamorphosis, or maybe because of the filling materials or the endodontic materials that we use, for example TAP paste, etc. Then discoloration can also occur because of aging. Now we will discuss about the most important part, that is mechanism of bleaching. We have tooth and bleaching agent. Tooth will be acting as a reducing agent and bleaching agent will be an oxidizing agent. So what happens? The bleaching agent will give you the reactive free radicals which will react with the unsaturated bond. The basic concept is that the larger stain molecule will be converted into smaller ones so that they will reflect less light and become colorless. So what are the various bleaching agent that is available in the market? So hydrogen peroxide, most commonly available percentages are from 5 to 35%. Hydrogen peroxide is usually clear, odorless and colorless, and it should be kept away from heat to avoid explosion, and it should be stored in an amber color bottle. So sodium perborate, it actually comes in a granular form, that is a white powder which has to be ground into powder before using. So sodium perborate can come as sodium perborate monohydrate, trihydrate or tetrahydrate. So when sodium perborate is mixed with superoxole, it actually gives out oxygen free radicals. So sodium perborate is commonly used in walking bleaching technique. Now the next agent is carbamide peroxide. which is also called as urea hydrogen peroxide. The most commonly used percentage is 10%. 10% carbamide peroxide gives off 6.5% urea and 3.5% hydrogen peroxide. That is 3:1 reduction of carbamide peroxide to hydrogen peroxide. Classification of bleaching procedures. We have intracoronal bleaching and extracoronal bleaching. So extracoronal bleaching will mostly be vital tooth bleaching, while intracoronal bleaching we will usually do it for an endodontically treated tooth. So what is walking bleaching technique? So in walking bleaching technique, we will re-enter the access cavity. We will remove the GP from the access cavity, and also we will remove the GP 1 mm apical to the CEJ, and we will seal the orifice with GIC or RMGIC in order to avoid cervical resorption. So then we will mix sodium perborate with the hydrogen peroxide and will make it in a paste form, and then we will place it within the access cavity. Then a cotton moistened with hydrogen peroxide is placed above it, and the sufficient thickness of the restorative material should be given. This is walking bleaching technique. So in walking bleaching technique, we will use it for an endodontically treated tooth. So it is also internal bleaching, right? We will remove all the GP from the chamber and 1 mm from the canal orifice, and the orifice will be sealed with the help of a suitable restorative material. We will mix sodium perborate and hydrogen peroxide, make it as a paste, and we will place it in the chamber. So usually maximum effect we can see it within 24 hours. So the patient can be recalled after 3 to 7 days, and depending upon the reduction of color, we can advise for a second appointment and we can plan accordingly. The next technique is in-office thermocatalytic bleach. So this is usually like an internal plus an external bleaching, that is inside outside bleaching techniques. We can place a loose cotton mat saturated with the hydrogen peroxide and place it above the tooth. At the same time, we can also place a cotton saturated with the hydrogen peroxide and place it in the pulp chamber, and we can activate the bleaching process with the help of light. So light can actually can act as a catalyst for the bleaching process. The next is extracoronal bleaching, in-office vital bleach. So whatever the bleaching procedure you are going to do, but first of all we have to check the shade. Then we have to take pre-operative photographs. We have to note whether there are any unrestored caries, so that we have to restore them. So before starting the procedure, make sure you give good gingival tissue protection. So in-office vital bleach, we can apply the bleaching gel on the facial surface of the teeth, and we can use suitable light source, and the temperature should be maintained around 50 to 60 degrees centigrade. The treatment time should not exceed 30 minutes even if the result is not satisfactory. So you can even split it as 2-15 minutes during the first visit. So we can also use laser assisted bleaching to activate the bleaching process. So commonly used laser for this purposes are argon and diode laser. An at-home bleaching procedure, the cooperation of the patient is very important. Here we will use 10% carbamide peroxide. Here we will prepare a bleaching tray for the patient, and the patient will apply the gel by his own. So usually the duration of application will be 6 to 8 hours application. So here we will use 10% carbamide peroxide, which is actually equivalent to 3.5% hydrogen peroxide. So it usually is a slow process and it takes time. So caries process may not advance during this bleaching because of the elevated pH. Because carbamide peroxide actually maintains an elevated pH, so that caries progress may not advance during this process. So the important things are pre-operative images and stage selection, and the thing is fabricating a bleaching tray with reservoir. So for completion of a question, when they are asking about bleaching, we should mention about the factors affecting bleaching, indications, contraindications, like definition of bleaching. So what's the mechanism of bleaching and what are the various bleaching agents and what are the techniques being used. So our answer will not be complete without mentioning about the indications and contraindications. So let me just discuss about the few factors affecting bleaching. Surface cleanliness, temperature, because a temperature activation, increase in temperature can actually activate the bleaching process, but make sure you are not using very high temperature because it can cause transient pulpitis. Okay. Hydrogen peroxide is active in alkaline pH. Then other factors like actual nature of the stain and initial color of the tooth. So whatever the bleaching process we are doing, we have to inform the patient prior that they can have mild sensitivity which is transient in nature because of initial pulpitis, which will resolve by its own. Then we should definitely advise the patient not to drink or take any high colored food substances when they are using this product, because teeth enamel may become permeable, can increase in its permeability. Therefore, they can easily catch up stains. So they must be very much aware not to use any high colored food substances during this period. So indication is when generalized staining, smoking stains and those food stains, fluorosis we can do bleaching, and traumatic pulpal changes also. So contraindication is when patient is already suffering with high hypersensitivity and extensively restored teeth, and when the root surfaces are exposed and patient having bruxism, and for pregnancy patient when there is tooth decay, and when there is severe enamel erosion because of regurgitation, etc. So these are the important topics we have to cover when